Good evening, everyone. I'm Donna and she's Joey. We are from Monday 8 p.m. class. So both of us currently working on CSI 6 and 7. And before we start our presentation today, we would like to introduce a little bit about ourselves to all of you. And again, I'm Donna, 18 this year. I started my college life this month and studying diploma in international business.
Hi everyone, and I'm taking management program. I'm also a CSI 7 student in law. So as you can see here in the screen, this is our topic today, critical thinking skills for employability. And I'll be covering half of the part, which is this critical thinking skills part. Because I saw more and more younger generations are lack of these critical thinking skills. Our old schooling method is our education system, and I'm also one of them. So we are all the same. I found these critical thinking skills as an issue when I joined law. I joined law when I was 16. It's kind of a bit late, but in law, there's no answers given by the teacher. This is the huge difference between normal school and the learning environment in law. And also, this is the environment which trains the critical thinking skills, because we are forced to think critically in law. This is one of the ways to actually train our critical thinking skills too. Today, I'll be going to share with you some tips and techniques on how to improve on your critical thinking skills. And Donna, can you please share with us on what topic are you going to cover today?
Yeah, sure. So the topic that I will be sharing today is unemployment issue and Malaysian youth. So the reason that I share this topic because I read some of the news from social media, and I thought that the fresh graduates or the millennials are the most potential one to bring country to a brighter future. But I'm not sure that why this has become an issue in our country. So it makes me want to do some research about it and share it to all of you to create awareness and avoid being one of them and prepare yourself to enter college or the working world. Yeah, so that's the reason that I want to share this topic to all of you.
Yes, this unemployment issue, it's a big issue which is currently happening in Malaysia. And before we start our main topic today, let us play a short game. So come on. Okay, this is the first question, like a warm-up question for all of you. As you can see on the slide, there is a rooster on a slanted roof, and there is wind blowing from the east to the west on 10 kilometers per hour. So if this rooster lays an egg, which direction do you think the egg will fall to? Is it to the right or to the left? Is there any volunteer? Like you can just unmute and say the answer.
Joey, repeat the question, please.
Okay, the question is, if this rooster lays an egg, which direction you think the egg will fall to? Is it to the left or to the right?
I think the answer would be neither, because rooster don't lay eggs.
Okay, let's see. Is there any different answer? I saw
Junjie there.
Junjie, you gotta speak up.
Yeah, I raised my hand already.
Yeah, what is your answer?
There won't be an egg. The roosters can't lay eggs, so the egg cannot fall.
Okay, congratulations. Okay, both of you answered correctly, okay, this is a trick question because, yeah, there's no egg because it is a rooster. So, okay, come on, let's move on to the next question. Okay, this is a situation. So just imagine if you are going to do a presentation in front of your class, but while you are preparing for your turn to present, you found out that your slides went missing. So what would you do to solve this situation? Like you can use your imaginations and creativity to answer. Yeah, come on.
Hands up. Come on.
What do you do?
Maybe Ziyuan, do you want to try?
Okay,
in this situation, I mean, you have to come up with something on the spot, or like you can utilize, like if there's a whiteboard there, maybe you can utilize it to like write on some of the important points that you want to present. But other than that, yeah, you have to come up with like presentation points on the spot, I guess. That's what I do. I mean, like,
So,
you don't have any other choice.
so you will spontaneously present it without your slides, right?
Yeah, just like, present it without anything in hand.
Okay, it's a solution because you don't have any choice on the
Yeah.
situation. So
I mean, provided you don't
This
have
is
any other visual
okay.
aids, that's the only way.
yes, okay. So what if you have some preparation beforehand? What would you do to prevent these situations to happen?
If it's like in school, right, I would probably send it to a teacher, but still prepare my pen drive as like a backup, just in case the pen drive file gets corrupted. The teacher will still have the file to be able to project it onto the screen.
Okay, it would be I have a suggestion for you. Maybe because now technologies are very advanced, so you could store it on the cloud or Google Drive, so you can retrieve it anytime in anywhere. So yeah, so this kind of situation you might face, it's quite common for higher grade students because you are going to be doing presentation in class. So just be prepared. Okay, thank you, Ziyuan, for your answer, and it's a good
Right.
answer. As you can see from these questions here, is we are actually not really well trained in school using the schooling method to train out our skills, and we are trained to just only score high marks in exam. This is what we call the rote learning method in school. And I'm sure that most of you are quite familiar with these kebat and HOTS questions. Kemahiran berpikir arah tinggi and also high order thinking skills questions. I think you have it in your exercises and exams. But I'm curious on why is that an answer scheme for this question, because actually these questions are set to train students' creativity and also critical thinking skills, right? So there's a fixed answers for these questions. I personally think that this is not a really good thing because you can't train students, whereas you spoon-fed students to answer the questions. So in my primary school life, my teachers also encouraged me to write factual essays, and this is how we don't have chance to train up our creativity by writing like creative writing questions. So all of these situations conclude that we are actually affected by this whole learning environment in school. Speaking about these critical thinking skills for a long time, and do you wonder what is critical thinking? So let me answer you. There's 5 elements in this critical thinking under this part. So there's observation skills, analysis, inference, communications, and also problem solving skills. In my opinion, critical thinking skills is not only just this simple 5 elements. It is something in our daily life. For example, it's not only making simple decisions like what you're gonna eat later. It's not only just so simple. It's like how you make the decisions spontaneously in each situation you face. And also it is what you how you solve a problem, because solving problem needs creativity. Like you see just now, I guess most of us came out with different answers with those 2 situations. So the questions and activity just now is also ways to train up our critical thinking skills. And we often do this activity in law. We actually have fun. Yeah, this is the best part. The importance of having these critical thinking skills are you can apply it on your homework. For example, myself as a university student, we have a lot of assignments. So like answering those assignments questions takes critical thinking, finding important points, and read and also analyze the questions carefully are very important because there's no fixed instructions given by our lecturers. So this is one of the example. And also in the future, for all of us, we can apply it in all fields of work and occupations. Take a simple example for like a cook. Today, if you can't buy a carrot in the market, but you need to cook a dish by using a carrot. So what would you do again to replace a carrot and to make up one dish? Also, like teachers, you will be facing lots of students in a class, so they have different kind of learning methods. So how would you do to teach all of the students in the class? This is also one of it. So until now, you can see that actually this critical thinking skills is all over all fields. And if you don't have this critical thinking skills, you might be unemployed. So this leads to the topic where Donna will share to us later. So let's welcome Donna because she will be sharing you guys more details.
Thank you, Joey. So my topic totally can be related to the critical thinking skill as it is an essential skill in the working world. But before I start my topic today, I would like to share a little bit about my experience to all of you. So I had the experience of choreographing dancers and coaching students who were taking the performance arts previously. And while coaching the performance arts, you have to plan all the performance skills that they have and how they can present them in an effective or a nice way. So this requires critical thinking skills. And so I would like to welcome Yinqing to come up on the stage and share her experience on how she learned the dance through online and the problem or challenges that she faced while learning and how can she come up with a nice recording for her exam. So let's welcome her.
Hello everyone, my name is Yunqing and this year I am 10 years old. So Donna helped me with my PA2 exams. I didn't really know, at first Donna taught me the steps and then she did a recording about the whole dance, and then after watching it a few times, I remembered the steps and kept practicing the steps. At first, I didn't know what to do, but then that time I had online Zoom ballet lessons. So I just treated the recording that Donna gave me as my ballet lesson.
Okay, thank you, Yinqing. So it's not that easy to prepare for the performance art exam. And so you could know that how important is to develop your own critical thinking skills, not just this skill, also other essential skills as shown in the picture. I believe most of you have seen this before. It is a must to build up your most of the skills as this will follow you until you enter to the working world. So later, Ronald and Jason will explain more detail on this. And then it leads to my topic, which is unemployment issue and Malaysian youth. So this issue is happening for a long time, and you could see that the statistic is keep increasing for the past 3 years. And one of the causes of problem is lack of soft skills. So as I mentioned just now, soft skills included time management, critical thinking, organization skills, communication skills, and more. Not just knowing them theoretically, you also have to know how to apply them in your real life. So soft skills are personal attributes that influence how well you can interact with others. And the lack of soft skills might limit your own potential too. So another cause of problem is the relevant qualification and requirements of the job. So let's just talk about the minimum requirement nowadays. You need at least to have a SPM certificate as the minimum requirement. If you don't have this certificate, you might have to wait until you are 21, or you need to have at least 2 years of working experience so that you can get into the college or university. But while waiting for a time to enter college, try to pick up some new skills and try to pick up some new skills and develop it. And if you have an interest, you could join the public course and maybe you could turn that as your career, right? So do you guys know why is this SPM certificate so important in Malaysia and how does it connect to employability? So SPM is an entry requirement that determines a student's future higher education and career. Many employers still look at SPM result as a part of the employment evaluation process. Most of the time, employers are not fixated on academic results, but are using the result as a gauge of a candidate's character. Not just that, it also shows your own responsibility and commitment as a student. So although it's just a small goal in your life, but it's very important to achieve it as it might affect your future. So you gain a lot of things while you look back on how you prepare for your exam. And as for me, I learned not to procrastinate because while I'm preparing for my SPM, I need to help out with the dance choreography for the students. And it's very important to maintain a work-life balance. So how about you, Joey? Do you have any advice to give to the audience?
Yes, of course. I would say, yeah, be flexible enough because life is unpredictable. We know that we can't predict what will happen next and what is the situation in the future. So what you can do is just improve yourself, be a flexible person so that you can adapt to the situation. You can use the critical thinking skills that I shared just now to make yourself more flexible because with critical thinking skills, it can train your mind to be more versatile. And also, I would like to emphasize on what Donna said just now. We can join like public courses to improve ourselves, right? So I would say that it's always not too late to join because yeah, you will be learning a lot of things and also it will be beneficial to your future. You get many exposures to different fields. So I guess that's some little suggestions. Yeah.
So I totally agree what did Joey say just now. And try to train yourself to be an all-rounded person. So I hope you guys learned something from our talk today. And we would like to suggest parents, it would be good if children pick up some soft skills such as the organization skills, critical thinking, and more from young. And for the audience who are in primary or secondary school, keep developing your own skills and improve them as it will prepare you to enter to college or university or enter to the working world. So appreciate any chances while you get to learn new things and build up new skills. You might discover something new about yourself and discover more about it. Yeah. So that's all for our presentation today. Next, we will have Jason and Ronald share about academic and business communication skills. So I will pass the floor to them and welcome them.
Thank you very much. Okay, hang on, let me add myself up here. Thank you, Donna and Joey, for inviting us up here. Today, I am here with Ronald, and this, everyone, will be probably the most boring section of tonight's show. Okay, because we're gonna go through a lot of theory. Okay, so we'll try to keep it short, but there's a lot of things to cover, so you should get ready with your notes and see if you want to take any notes so that you can understand it better. My name is Jason and I am a teacher at Language Arts Workshop. I have been teaching here for a lot of years. Okay, and with me here is Ronald. Ronald's my cousin, and he's also a student at Language Arts Workshop. Ronald, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Yep. Okay, hello guys. My name is Ronald, and I'm an IT support from Nusa Global Sendirian Berhad. So a quick story about me. After high school, I straight away jumped into the working world and started working. I worked in a field called project management consultant. That's where they link up all of the construction people, from the electrical people and the builders and all sort of things. But in this 2 years of my working experience, I met a lot of people. And I also noticed that I learned a lot of micro-credential. So the topic that we're gonna talk. So I hope you all here will benefit will learn all of this micro credential and benefit you in the future, like going to work or going to college.
All right, thank you very much. So you can go ahead and start sharing screen first. Today, we are talking about micro-credentials. What are micro-credentials? Micro-credentials, basically things that make people believe that you can do what you say you can do. All right, these are all skills that you can pick up through experience. All right, like Donna and Joey mentioned just now, a lot of these are soft skills. You can't really learn these in textbooks. You have to do to be able to learn how to do this better. So we'll be talking about these in the context of academic and business communication. I will be covering the academic side and Ronald will cover the business side of things. Here are 15 skills. We are not going to talk about them one by one because otherwise we'll be here until midnight. But what we're going to do is we're going to go row by row. So look at the first row. Okay, Ronald, highlight, please. Yep. So we have written communication, spoken communication, nonverbal communication, presentation, and public speaking. All of these are related to information transfer. That is basically what communication is. You're transferring information from yourself to other people. And let's take a look at the 3 different types of communication here. We are actually using all 3 right now. Okay, the written communication is anything that's written down in words for people to read, which is what you see in Ronald's screen share right now. Spoken communication is anything that needs to be said that people hear and listen to. And finally, nonverbal communication would be any kind of communication that goes without using words. For example, the way that we are dressed. If you have a look at all the performers today, you'll see that all of us are dressed kind of nice clothes, you know, not really like just a random pajamas t-shirt, even though like for Ronald and for me, we are at home, you know, it would be much more comfortable if we just wore like, you know, loose t-shirt and stuff like that, but we don't, because nonverbal communication is all about the message that people get when they see you, when they look at you, from how you dress, how you behave, your eye contact with the camera, and so on. And we use all 3 of these communication skills in presentations and public speaking. In academic world, which is like in your school up to university, and even eventually if you want to be a teacher, you're going to use all of these all the time. Right now, we are actually giving a presentation to you. It's kind of also like a public speaking because you guys are not really going to interact with us much for this first part of the talk. And in academic world, you're going to use communication a lot because you need proper communication to learn from other people. If, for example, your teacher is going too fast, what do you do? Anyone? Anyone not Ronald? What happens if your teacher is going too fast? Could you just give me an answer, please?
I usually do not.
Yeah, usually do nothing, right? Because if you don't say it in the right way, the teacher will think that you are rude and you are interrupting them, and they'll tell you to shut up and listen, right? So proper communication is very important to be able to get the message across to the teacher. Teacher, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I don't really understand this part. Could you please explain it again? And then the way that you communicate with the teacher can help you learn much better. What about in the business world, Ronald?
In the business world, I feel like written communication, it's like how you need to write an email to the customer, or how are you going to write a catchy phrase for advertisement or something. And then spoken comms will be how you're going to talk to your bosses, your staffs, your friends in the company. Spoken communication is important because if you don't speak to them respectfully, you're just going to get fired if you're going to talk to your boss in a rude way. And then non-verbal communication is something like what Jason said, like how we dress. When we're talking to you, we need to sit up straight. Presentation and public speaking is important in the working world because, for example, when you're showing an advertisement, you're going to show your boss what is your product you're going to sell. And then same thing as like school presentation, you need to explain what is this product, how is it going to go.
Public speaking, you see that everywhere. All right, now let's look at the second row. The second row is related to problems and how we make problems go away in a nice way. So let's look at the 5 terms here. Emotional quotient. This is what we usually call as EQ. It is your control of your emotions. All right. And why is this important? Because if you suddenly start crying in the middle of your presentation because you're talking about something in your past that is kind of sad, then you can't present anymore because you're crying. So that's just one example. All right. And being able to control our emotions, a big part of that is in diplomacy and empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand what other people are feeling. And why do we need to do that? Because if we want to keep things peaceful, we want to try to find the best way to talk so that we can make sure everyone is not disturbed by what you are saying in any way, in a good way, in a bad way. So you are basically helping other people to maintain their emotional quotient when you are doing diplomacy. And the best way to understand how other people feel is through negotiation and active listening. Negotiation it means that you talk to other people and you try to come to an understanding. Maybe they want A, but you want C. So you'll have to work together and maybe get to a middle ground of B in the middle. Active listening, on the other hand, is something I hope you're all doing right now, where you listen to what is being said and you think about what is being said. You don't just listen to the words, you also think about it. How does this relate to my life? How can this relate to other people? And so on. Then, once you have the ability to listen and negotiate with others, you have to learn how to give constructive criticism. This term is basically you're giving advice to other people on how they can improve something. And the point here, okay, the point to constructive criticism is you are providing the criticism so that they can improve. The main purpose is for people to improve. Constructive criticism, that's a very difficult thing to learn for. And finally, conflict resolution. Whenever there's a problem, you have to apply all of the previous 4 skills in this row to be able to solve problems. Because if there are problems, then you're not going to get anything done. Working together with other people would be the next section. Collaboration, delegation and expectation, decision-making, creativity and adaptability, time management. More specifically, we're looking at the first section, collaboration. Collaboration means you're getting together with one or more other people and you're trying to produce some kind of work. Sometimes collaboration can be with a specific goal. Like for example, the teacher says, okay, we are now doing group project. Everyone find 2 partners to work with. So you have 3 people in a group and you're all going to produce a presentation on a topic, blah, blah, blah. That is a kind of collaboration with a goal. The other kind is more creative kind of collaboration. You find somebody who has similar interests to you and you decide to get together to produce something. What you're going to produce, you're going to need to discuss to determine that. But you get together first just because you want to work together to make something. For example, if one person is good at drawing and the other person is good at writing, you can get together to produce a comic together, right? And that's what we call a collaboration. So collaboration skills, we use that a lot in studies. I hope that you guys have had experience of studying together with your friends before. If not, you might want to consider trying. It could be helpful for some of you. Maybe for some of you, it's not really fit your learning style. That's fine. But you should try it at least once to see how you can learn better that way. I learn better a lot a lot of times when I can study with someone else. Okay, next, delegation and expectation. Delegation means to give tasks to every different person. And expectation is what you expect somebody to be able to accomplish. So in this one here, we are basically just trying to learn about who we are working with. What are they good at? What are they not good at? And of course, we try to give the tasks that suit their strengths to the person who is suitable for it. For example, if I have to produce a podcast and I have, let's see, who do I have here? I have, let's say I have Zichen, I have Charlene, and I have Olivia. Okay, so out of these three students, I think I would ask Zichen to prepare the visuals. Charlene and Olivia will both discuss the content of what they're going to share. Why? Because I think that Zichen is better with computer, so that he can sort of make something out with the computer that looks nicer than what maybe Olivia or Charlene could do in the same amount of time. Meanwhile, Charlene is really talkative. Olivia is not so talkative. So we put them together, and then they should try to balance out each other's style of speaking. So that is what I would call delegation, giving different people suitable tasks like that. All right. And then we move on to decision-making skills. Decision-making, even choosing not to do something is making a decision. Okay, this might be a bit confusing to some of you, but choosing not to do something is also choosing to do something. A bit confusing, isn't it? Right. So learning how to make decisions and not to hesitate too much is also very important when you're working together as a group, because there is always a time limit. And we'll talk about that last. Next, creativity and adaptability. We have to be creative, because otherwise you're just going to have the same ideas as other people, and that's going to be very boring. We don't want that to happen. Adaptability, on the other hand, is the ability to change what you're going to do based on how the situation has changed. Like, for example, my example with the delegation just now, I picked the people from the audience randomly, and I thought quickly, how would I assign them roles in a project? I didn't plan this beforehand. I just randomly picked the audience just now. So yeah, adaptability. You have to be able to be flexible, to adapt to the situation at hand. And it's really important. The more people you're working with, the more you have to be disciplined in your time management, because everyone has to complete what they are supposed to do by a certain given amount of time. If one person does not complete it, you don't get the final product. And the more people there are, the harder it is to sort of manage everyone's time management. So discipline is really important if you are going to work with other people. All right, Ronald, how does this work in the business world?
In the business world, I would say collaboration, it's key. It's really important, because, like, example, analogy about football field, like in football, you need a frontliner, a midfielder, and a defender, right? So the frontliner would be like the salesman, and then the midfielders will be like the accountants, or like knows like admin work and stuff, and defenders will be like the IT guys that take care of all the things. So collaboration is very key, because if you can't do everything solo in a business unless it's those kind of like graphic design and all. Making a company, you need to collab with people. You need a team. So delegation, you need to know who is good at computers, who's good at doing accounting, and who's good at talking and selling the product to people. So you need to know who you're hiring, and then decision making is also key in business, because when you're like trying to make a product or what, you also need to pick a product like what you want. Also in business world, adaptability is very important, because if, example, a situation happened like what Joey said just now, like but that one's for academic. But what happened if your pen drive broke or your presentation to your boss, suddenly your just disappeared? What do you do? So you need to adapt, like what Ziyan say, just try to do it on the spot or just print it out and hand flyers to your bosses. And then time management is also one of the important things, because every project you do in the business world, there's always deadlines, even homework and academic too.
Okay, thank you. Now let's move on to our game. Okay, two teams. What we're gonna do? Okay, you're gonna take turns. So Yunqing starts first on one team, Andrew starts first on the other team, and Shuyi and Felix will be each of your replacements if you run out of thoughts. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna play questions only. So I would like all of you to unmute yourselves right now. Okay, and you're gonna ask each other's questions in a particular context.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give you a context and you will have to ask questions that you can only hear in this particular situation. Now, don't ask questions where you just replace one word. Like, for example, where's the apple? Where's the orange? Where's the grapes? Don't do that. Okay, very lazy way of thinking of questions. So since we talk about fruits, right, let's go for in the market. All right, let's go. Yunqing, ask a question. Okay, Ronald, can you keep track of how many questions each of them ask? All right, you only have 3 seconds to ask your question every turn. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, Yunqing, go.
Why is it so noisy?
Andrew?
How much is the apple?
Yunqing?
Where do I find the fish?
Andrew? Felix?
Where can I get milk?
Wait, hang on. That's the same question, Felix. Just now, Yunqing asked where can I find the fish? Okay,
milk.
Yunqing?
Please. Okay, never mind.
Where is the fruits section?
Andrew?
Okay, I was like, when will the market?
Felix? Okay, wait,
They
sorry?
sell Dutch Lady brand milk here.
We're at the market, not a supermarket. Okay, let's change to
never
Shui.
How much is this?
Andrew?
When does the market close?
Shui?
Can I go to that place?
Felix?
Can I find celery here?
Yunqing? Shui?
Is this expensive than that market?
Andrew?
Can we leave now?
Yunqing?
Why is it so stinky here?
Felix?
What goes well with tomatoes?
Hey, okay, not bad. Shui?
Where can I go and buy this fruit?
That question has been asked already. Don't count that as a point. Andrew?
Why is this so expensive?
That one has also been asked.
Already
Yunqing?
asked.
Why am I here again?
Okay. All right, now let's change the scenario. Okay.
One more
okay,
group,
okay.
come on.
So we have two teams. Wow, this is really unfair. We have the 2 old cows and the 2 babies. Okay, so Junjie and Yongzhe will be one team, and KJ will be on the other team. All right, Junjie, your scene is at a garden. Junjie,
That's
go.
not good.
What species is this flower?
Yangming,
Why do we need to plant flower?
Yongzhe,
Where can I find a bench?
KJ,
Where's the hibiscus?
Junjie,
Where did you buy this from?
Yangming,
Why is this so cheap?
cheap. You're buying things at the garden. Okay. Yongzhe,
When did you reach here?
KJ,
Where's the beehive?
Junjie,
What is this tool?
Yangming,
Where is the tree?
Yongzhe, where is the tree? You can't see it. Okay. Yongzhe,
How does the gardener do his job?
KJ.
Let's flower the fruits.
No.
That's not a
only.
question.
Okay. Okay.
Junjie,
Does this plant bear fruits?
Yangming,
Why do we need to cut the grass?
Yongzhe,
Okay.
Where can I find the fountain?
Junjie, Legit. And time's up. Okay.
Too
So,
slow. Yeah.
so that's the
Okay,
game.
that would
Questions
be
or
it.
play.
Okay, let's wrap up. Okay, thank you everyone. This is how we make learning fun. Now, as you can see, all what you have learned here, I will recap everything to what we do, come down to this academic and business communication. You will need all these skills when you take SPM by the time you get there to MUET, IELTS, TOEFL. So please pay attention to what you are doing right now. I'm not talking just English, you know, I'm talking about something else. And also back to our theme, the micro credential. Do something to enhance maybe something you are not so good at. Don't be shied away from what you're not good at. Just now, what we play. Remember, we recap again about the 12 play. Questions only, the game we have just played just now. What it is under? Is it under symbolic, cooperative, competitive, or structure?
Competitive.
A, B, C, D. You answer by yourself. Okay? So that's sort of thing that we do, and we want you to learn how. I prepare quite a lot of game actually. A lot of game. Okay, so for those of you who are preparing for your upcoming presentation, think of the game. So this kind of game, the dialogue between two characters or two people are actually taken from IELTS exam. One day you take IELTS, you want to go overseas to study, companies want you to work somewhere like Australia or UK, they will ask you go ahead and take IELTS. So it's based on your ability to listen, to speak, to read, and write. So we have this kind of game. I come up with this, so I thought I would have time to play with you. But nope, sorry. Stay tuned for the next one, okay? So next episode, this is what you're gonna see. We are gonna cover media literacy. If you think you know how to create a media, like make a YouTube content, you think you can write a script, you want to venture into this podcast show or even talk show. This is the media literacy club we are doing here too, not just a book and writers club. We have to be aware because everything turned into digital from now on, even learning. Okay, you look. I need to recap all the things why we are here tonight. It's because I want you to know that these are the medias we are consuming every day. But which one is actually more? How much time you spend on the most? We have traditional media, we have new media, okay? So which one are you spend or wasting time on? You ask yourself. And so why we need to learn how to understand the media and how people create it to avoid being conned. A lot of people get scammed and conned by because they don't know how to read or analyze the media. They simply click accept or whatever that happened. Okay, so this subject, I wish you guys could learn from school. I wish one day the school will implement this subject in school. Hey, Ronald, that is my prediction, okay? Remember 20 years ago when I said what we do here, the school will follow one day. So that one day is just after COVID-19. You see, 20 years later, the school start to tell you guys book recommendation. If Junjie can remember the first time you were here, we asked you to read and we asked you to analyze the book. That's the step, okay? And now the school just started to implement this and ask the kid to analyze book and present about book. I think it's a little bit too late, but it's not too late if you want to learn, of course. So media literacy is something like that, okay? You understand what you see, you understand what they're trying to sell to you. And that's it. So I have prepared all this, but I didn't get to play. So I guess next time then. I also prepared Donna video and Yunqing dance, but don't have to. You want to watch their show, you come back next round. Okay, to prove that they really have their micro credential with them, regardless of age. Okay, so, oops, I'm sorry. No spoilers. Anyway, we are gonna have the next event soon. Okay, stay tuned. If you like what you see here, subscribe. Okay, thank you everybody, and thank you again, speakers, for being here.
Group photo.
Oh, group photos. Okay, Chunying is your job, I guess. Okay. Okay, say cheese. All right. Very good, everybody, and thank you. Okay, good night. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.